one coming as well. But no, I mean the point being that in order to make a 7 stint or an 8 stint 7 pit stop race, which is what the P1s try to do, you need to make your next pit stop at the top of the hour. So at 6 o'clock local time, 3 hours into the race, we should be getting the first of the Audis in, which will be Marcel Fessler. And it's sort of far enough into the race as well now that, as I say, this interesting point of whether they can double stint the tyres, and if Audi can double stint the tyres but Toyota can't, because the way it's going at the moment, even though the Toyota only has 14 seconds of an advantage, it's going to be able to keep that advantage to the end of the race, and it's got enough of an advantage to be able to make its last pit stop that little bit shorter as well, which will just give it, by my reckoning, an advantage at the flag of about a minute. So we'll see how it pans out, and of course anything can happen, as we've already seen from Alexander Wurz,
yes.
And also of course from Nico Prost in the Rebellion Lola Toyota.
Mark Jackson has said, why do some of the GT cars have blue lights sometimes flashing on the front of the car? It's merely for, I believe, for the teams to recognise them coming down the pit lane. It's an idea that I'm sure they've borrowed from the Nürburgring M24, where the top 30 or sometimes the top 40 cars have blue flashing lights after qualifying, so that when they're coming up behind people, it's easier for them to recognise it as a faster car, particularly in the darkness hours. And Paul Duncan reminds me there's just one more day left to donate to our Radio Le Mans 360 challenge page for the Stroke Association in the UK. Remember, Paul, myself and Andy Merrick among the drivers of Tango 67. You may have seen it on Mobile One The Grid earlier on the Donington 6 hours. It's justgiving.com. That's www.justgiving.com/Radio Le Mans 360 challenge. All funds going to the Stroke Association. Thank you to everyone who's already donated, and we'll be closing that at the end of this race. Paul. Oh, just lost Paul for a moment. But oddly, I'm getting myself back for a moment. Oh no, it's disappeared now. Paul Trustwell.
Way that it wasn't Mike Conway, was it, that we were hearing from? It was
John Martin,
sorry, in Mike Conway's car, and the fact that Mike has now taken the lead of the class, but it's perilously close. We've got 30 seconds separating the first 3 in P1. We've got 30 seconds separating the first 3 in P2, and the way that Alex Brundle is going in the number 24 racing car at the moment, that he took over from Olivier Pla, that is in a position to start closing in on Perez Companc in the Pcom car. So it's interesting the way that those cars have been going as there's a slow Audi out on the track.
Pointed out by Graham Goodwin that Darren Turner is pushing very hard at the moment. Just done a 2 minutes .8 or 2.
It's number 2, yeah. It's the number 2 Audi, John, which has suddenly slowed down.
Oh yes. And Alan McNish looking nervous in the pit lane. And this is a disaster for McNish. He hasn't been in the car. He hasn't done his 45 minutes. Now, if the car gets classified and the other 2 drivers get points, which they will, then Alan McNish will miss out on being drivers' champion. Oh, this is massive, Paul.
It is, absolutely. He's turning through the left-hander that leads on to the support race start-finish line.
After the apex of T10, drivers left. Car 2, very slow after the apex of T10, drivers left.
Eduardo is being very kind about that, because that car is not going very slowly at all. It's at a dead halt, and Loic Duval will be on the radio to Kyle Wilson-Clark in the on the Audi pit wall, and trying to get that car going again, because at the moment it is a good 3 kilometres, 2.5 kilometres short of the pit lane entrance.
This is not good news. We'll have to get Paul thumbing through the regulations and see what we can do about finding out if Alan needs to get in that car.
Yeah, well, Autosport has to reclassify their colour banding, don't they? Because they've already put the Scottish blue on their masthead. I mean, McNish's hope is that he can. I mean, he won't be thinking about this; he'll be thinking in terms of the race. But his case will be that the precedent was set at Fuji, and that Alan is as much a part of the team as Loic and Tom are, and therefore should be entitled to the same points as Loic and Tom are. So, you know, the precedent that was set, and if there are any lawyers listening, will know how important precedents are. That as soon as such a decision as was made at Fuji was made, then it kind of sets that as a position that others can then use as a justification for their own interpretation.
Absolutely. 3 hours and 7 minutes still to go. I'm not sure about the 70% rule in WEC. You certainly don't have to be running at the end as you do at Le Mans. I thought the 70% rule was ALMS and IMSA thing, but I'm prepared to be persuaded on that. I have seen some people stand on various podia around the world when cars have gone out very, very early indeed. And let's nip down to the pit lane and to Nick Damon. The moment I say that, of course, Louise will pop up. But Nick, not sure if you dare be anywhere near Audi, or you have been anywhere near Audi. I know that's stretching the range of the radio mic quite a long way. But as we see Loic Duval grinding to a halt, is there any word from Audi at all about what might be happening and what they think about the status of the car? Hello, Nick. We seem to have lost our link down to the pit lane for the moment. What that does mean, as Graham Goodwin of dailysportscar.com points out, so we're going to have a quick listen to the Audi radio.
I cannot go on second gear, you know, but I mean, I can go on second gear, but I have no first gear, you know, the steering. But it's just not working.
That's fine. Try second gear and try and pull away slowly. What happens then?
I'm trying, guys. I've been already on second gear. I have nothing, you know, nothing.
I think part of the problem there, obviously, is that Loic Duval has been sucking helium while he was going round. Kyle, his race engineer, telling him to try second gear 10 minutes before we get a P2 car into an overall podium position. Then if that car doesn't move, I can almost feel Paul thumbing through regulations as the ever intrepid marshals here push Loic Duval to a place of safety on the exit of turn 10. It's on the wrong side of the circuit to cause any major trouble. Now, is his engine still running? I'm not sure about that. I think he's still got his engine running there. Let's go back to Loic Duval, speaking to Kyle.
Out of the car. EMS off, and I switch off everything.
Wait, don't stay in car, stay in car. They're going to tow you backwards, stay in car. I want to keep talking to you.
Copy, I'm in the car, stay in the car.
So that car is out of the way. You can see that the lights are on, the engine is running, the marshals are watching. Loic Duval trying to get a gear on that car. He may have lost first gear, maybe second gear. The marshals are trying to tell him to stay where he is. Now, of course, it wouldn't be the worst thing if the car was disqualified, and then nobody would get any points, and all would be well. Paul, have we got a definitive answer?
Yes, if the car is not classified, then it doesn't get any points, and neither do the drivers.
What does it have to do to be classified?
And it has to do 70% of the distance.
It is 70%.
To be classified.
Okay. Yeah. So, actually, the car not moving from there at the moment means that all the drivers score no points, and therefore it's not an issue.
That's right.
and nobody can catch them in the championship.
That's definitely right. And
Okay.
I'm just going to check me 70%, and we'll be all right.
Okay. I never like to make those kind of pronouncements without checking with you first. I am an inveterate reader of rules, but I do like to have some kind of closure. Amazing this, isn't it? This would have been a great race for Rebellion, and they were the first one to go out. We've had two of the top cars that have ground to a halt. Alex Vert's already out of the race with an engine or driveline issue. Like Duval, similar issue, and the Rebellion with a fire.
Yeah, exactly. And we also lost one of the two Lotuses. There was a danger that we were going to lose. Well, I think we probably have lost the number 32 Lotus as well, haven't we? That's still in the pits. But I think it's almost good that we have mechanical frailty, because one of my complaints, I suppose, about endurance racing is that it's becoming too easy to get a car to the finish. I've always thought that 6 hours should be as sufficient of a test that it is difficult to get a car to the finish for that length of time. So it's good that we have mechanical frailty. In comes Marcel Fessler, and it is 3 minutes to 6, 2.5 minutes to 6. So that will do. He will be able to run a 7-stop stint. Marcel Fessler coming in at the end of his 98th lap for his 4th pit stop.
And Nick Damon, I think, is down there for us, still trying to get clarification for this. There is definitely precedent for cars being given points that are not running at the end of races. I've seen that happen before. Hello, Nick.
Hello.
Yes, Nick. Welcome back.
Well, I don't go anywhere. I think there's some. At the moment, I'm absolutely guaranteed that they will all get nothing. And I state the case of the Toyota number 8 in number 7, sorry, in Spa, which did about 2 hours of the race, then broke down and stopped, and he got 0 points. So at the moment, they're all world champion.
Right.
Guarantee it.
Yeah, I am absolutely certain it doesn't have to be running at the end of the race in this.
No, but it has to do that 70%.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the moment it has done neither, because
correct.
Unless for some reason the race is foreshortened. I suppose that's the other thing that could scupper it. Because if the race would suddenly be
the checker flag went out now,
we might find that it has done 70%, but it's certainly not done 70% of the scheduled distance.
In the meantime, drama in P2 as Craig Dolby's 25 Delta ADR is in the pit lane, and that's up on. That's in the garage.
Yeah, it has been for some little time, John. It's just coming up for 4 minutes in the pits, 3.5 minutes, sorry, in the pits for Craig Dolby, number 25.
Yeah, Mike Conway leads now by an increasing margin, but Luis Perez Compag is doing a pretty good job in the 26 car. Oh, here's another issue. This time it's the 57 Krone Racing car. Well, that's had its admirers, hasn't it? Rather too close admirers, the number 1 Audi in particular, earlier on, as in comes the leader in P2, Nick. I think you need a new battery if you haven't got one already.
Just did that, and I'm now walking down from the...
Do you want to try again?
Yes, so I have just changed the battery, and I'm now meandering down to go and see what's happening in the wonderful P2.
Meantime, the 57 car is making its way back into pit lane. Again, I'll apologise for the issues with Nick's radio mic. It is not our equipment, it's been supplied to us. You're not allowed to bring RF equipment into these areas. It's been supplied to us by the circuit. We are into the second half of the race, and Toyota are leading the motor race. It was about 16 seconds. Ignore the +1 lap on the graphics at the moment, because that's just because Sarazana started his 101st lap and the Audis are yet to complete their 100th, if that makes sense.